All right, so I was scrolling through YouTube, came across this video where First Take was talking about the tragedy that is the Los Angeles Lakers as of now. After the All-Star break, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought, all they needed was some time off, and then when the Lakers get back out on the floor, they would just fly. Playoff LeBron is here. He could flip that switch and, he make every team his bitch. Like, accidental rhyming right there. But that's pretty much the notion at this point, is that after the All-Star break, late February, early March, LeBron runs the NBA. This is usually his time of year. Now, the storyline is he may miss the playoffs. And now the LeBron fans have to find every way they possibly can to exonerate LeBron for the season. Oh, well, nobody expected him to do great things this year, even though a lot of people picked him to go get to the Western Conference Finals. Oh, nobody expected LeBron to do anything this year. He's on a team with a whole bunch of young guys, and then you got like guys like Rondo and Lance Stevenson and Tyson Chandler who are not superstars or all stars or whatever. Like, this team, excluding the team where you had Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron, I believe the championship year 2016. This is their most talented team that he's been on since then. Even more talented than the team that he had last year. But he got that team to the NBA Finals. Oh man, well the East was weak. The East was weak. If you look at the West this year, the West has played significantly more average than in previous seasons. I was looking at the record of a couple months ago, and Boston was like 37-21, or no. This was like they had a record. I believe it was like I'm not even gonna try to guess. All right, so whatever record they had when I first looked at the rankings, or when I looked at the playoffs picture, they were in the 5th spot with their record. The Oklahoma City Thunder had the same record, and they were in the 3rd position. So you're telling me the East is so weak, it's so void of superstars. The 3rd best team with a certain record in the West is the 5th best team in the East. So all I'm saying is, this is the time of the year either LeBron gets the job done and he's exalted like he always is, or he fails. He fails, and everybody looks to blame somebody else who is not named LeBron James, and that's usually how the story goes. And LeBron's best friends are his supporters in the sports media. So I'm gonna let them talk, and then I'm gonna chime in.
After a 128-115 loss at New Orleans, Freudian slip there Saturday night. LeBron James questioning whether his teammates have the experience to handle the challenge ahead and help the team qualify for the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. Stephen A.
Real quick, before Stephen A gets started, LeBron James has a style of play that is very reminiscent of James Harden. How James Harden has been playing so far this year, where they are the number 1, number 2, number 3, maybe the number 4 option. It depends on how you feel on certain days. And everybody else is a secondary character. It's like one of those movies where the main actor plays at least 3 of the top 5 parts in a movie. And then everybody else is just, secondary characters who are significantly less important than the main actor, because he gets most of the shine, most of the camera time. And that's usually how it goes with LeBron when he's on these teams. And this is why superstar players like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant, and even Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not a superstar, but even Ben Simmons didn't want to play with LeBron. I said this before. When the off season was here and LeBron was trying to pick a team to go to, and everybody was, was trying to find out what players would love to team up with LeBron. They asked Ben Simmons if LeBron decided to come to Philly, what would be your reaction? And his reaction was something like, "Well, if he comes, he comes." Like he couldn't have been more just aloof to the whole thing. Like he just didn't give a shit, man. And that's the reason why, man. It's not that these players can't handle the pressure of playing with a great player. It's that they already understand what LeBron is going to do to them, to their role on the team. They'll have a role coming in, but once LeBron sinks his teeth into the organization, you already know what's going to happen. I'm already on record as saying I believe that the Lakers last year showed significant promise, and LeBron coming to the Los Angeles Lakers would seriously damage that progression, and you're starting to see it. Like Kyle Kuzma was phenomenal for a chunk of the season last year. I mean, he's looked like a shell of himself this year. Lonzo Ball was probably my favorite part of following the Lakers, because when he was in the game, the flow of the game was a lot more fluid. And then when he would get hurt or he would sit out, it just didn't seem like the team was like they were in a disarray, and it always was funny to me that people were so hard on Lonzo, like, oh, Lonzo's a bust. He can't shoot. He can't do this. He can't do that. Ben Simmons can't shoot either. And Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons has the exact same game. The difference between Ben Simmons and Lonzo is Philly uses Ben Simmons more the way that the Lakers need to use Lonzo. And Lonzo is a better shooter than Ben Simmons. So who do you think has a better shot of getting you 20 points in a game? They don't use him enough. Like last year, it was a stretch where Luke Walton would just take Lonzo out the game in the fourth quarter. Like he just wouldn't go the fuck back in. Like that kind of sabotage right there is the reason why this kid looks average, or he doesn't look as good as he should be looking. Because when a player gets in the flow through the first three quarters, he's trying to, get the momentum going, get his game right. And then when the fourth quarter gets there, that's usually when the great players play the best, is in the fourth quarter. And you take him out of the fourth quarter, it's like all that equity that he's built up during the game by playing well, being involved, and trying to be a good leader. You just completely kaplooey everything by taking them out in the fourth quarter. So I thought that was sabotage, and it doesn't help having LeBron there, because now you take the ball out of Lonzo's hands, you put it in LeBron's, and you just make everybody else stand in certain spots. And the things that they were becoming accustomed of doing, like last year, now you completely erase all of that, and now they're fucking statues. Statues who can shoot. This is why, and I'm gonna make this little point, and then I'm gonna finish the video. But this is why somebody came out and said, when you have LeBron on your team, you need to surround him with shooters. And that's because LeBron is the ball handler. He's everything except defensively. He's nothing defensively. He's almost as useless on defense as his teammates are on offense, apparently. So you surround him with shooters. You surround him with at least three guys that can shoot the three ball consistently. And so when he decides that he doesn't want to drive the lane or step back for a jumper or whatever, he decides he wants to kick out once the defense tries to collapse on him, that it makes him look good as much as it makes his teammates look good when they can knock down the three-point shot when he passes it to him. Oh, LeBron makes the right basketball play. That's because the way he has the offense, in almost every situation, it looks like he's going to make the right play. Because if I'm holding the ball at the top of the fucking line and I drive the lane and the defense doesn't collapse on me and I have the advantage one-on-one against my defender and I drive the lane and finish, oh, you look good in that situation. Now, if I drive the lane and the defense collapse in on me, or they try to stop me by leaving their man wide open, and I kick it out to my teammates, and they knock down the shot. That was the right basketball play. Even if they missed the shot, it was the right basketball play. His teammate just didn't do just didn't do his job, and that's usually how the story goes. So let him finish.
Do you have any issue with what LeBron said?
Zero. Nothing whatsoever, because I think he's absolutely positively on the money. If there is an issue to be taken about it, it's the fact that the roster, to some degree, he assembled. Outside of that, there's nothing to say. He was absolutely correct. You've got a whole bunch of guys that are playing without a degree of urgency. I was at the game Thursday night when they played Houston, when they came back and beat Houston on them.
Stephen A. is going to bring this up later, and I'm just going to say this real quick. When you play on a team with a guy that can have you traded or have your role diminished on the team, why would you be excited to play at all? It's like, who gives a fuck at this point? We're either trash if we don't play well, and if we do play well, it makes that guy look good, and then we're just ignored. Why would you want to play well? And then once the trade deadline is approaching, if he wants to get all of us dealt, all he has to do is say, a few words to fucking Magic Johnson and get us all sent out. That doesn't speak to the level of trust that's in that locker room with this dude there. And one more thing, Brandon Ingram, you could just tell LeBron being there completely rubbed this dude the wrong way. Because you could just see a change in the way that this dude plays the game, his attitude, and it's just a difference.
On turf, Brandon Ingram had a good game that night, 27-13. Last night he had against the Pelicans he had 29. But the reality is that there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to what they're doing. What's their identity? We don't know. LeBron James doesn't look the same. Kyle Kuzma has tailed off a little bit. Brandon Ingram has amped it up. Rondo, an experienced veteran and a champion, he's not doing but so much. The same could be said for the Tyson Chandlers of the world. Lance Steve.
Real quick, man. Why does everybody talk about Rondo with such fucking respect? Rondo was pretty much Russell Westbrook without the athletic ability. And he just said it with such respect. And I'm not saying, look, any player that wins a championship, who's a part of a championship team that contributed in some way, I mean, it's not easy to do that. It's not, and I acknowledge that. But it's not like this dude was fucking scoring 15 points a game, getting 10 assists a game that season. He had the privilege of playing with 3 Hall of Famers and a great group of guys coming off the bench. Even Kendrick Perkins that was in the starting lineup, who was very important to that team. So come on, man. Rondo at best is a stat padder on an average team. So come on, man.
Stevensons of the world and what have you, the rotation that Luke Walton has thrown in there. You've got JaVale McGee, who was playing really, really well for them throughout the season, only playing 16 minutes the other night. It doesn't seem to be any cohesiveness. They don't seem to be on the same page, no identity whatsoever, and the level of urgency has clearly arisen.
And that's LeBron's fault, and that's the point I'm trying to make, man. Their lack of identity is because LeBron strips them of their identity and gives them the identity that he wants them to have. And this is why they're walking around like fucking zombies, is because, like, the type of players that they are, he's just taking that away from them and forcing them to be something that he needs them to be.
3 games out of the 8th spot, owned by the Clippers. The Spurs are in the 7th spot. We know they're not going to tail off but so much. All right, the Sacramento Kings are a game out, trying to squeeze in and definitely going forward. And they want the Warriors. They wouldn't mind playing the Warriors in the first round at all. So you look at all of those different things, and it just doesn't seem to be any reason to be confident in what's transpiring with the Los Angeles Lakers right now. LeBron James is acknowledging that. He is acknowledging it publicly, because what other recourse is there now that the trading deadline has expired? All he can do is call guys out and say, look, this is the moment. We're either going to do it or we are not. We all know Luke Walton.
It's funny that he says that this is either the moment we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. Because in a lot of those clips that they just showed between the Lakers and the opposing team. When the opposing team had the ball and they were going in for the score, they were going for the shot. When you look at LeBron, he's standing in one spot. Like on that one play, I believe, where Julius Randle was driving the lane on somebody. I really didn't get a glimpse of who that was defending him, but he was driving the lane and he was laying the ball up, and LeBron was directly behind him. Vintage LeBron would have went up for the block, would have tried to stop the ball, would have hit the ball on the back of the glass. That's the stuff that he was doing in Cleveland before he left for Miami. And that's the stuff that he was doing in Miami. Now LeBron is such a terrible defender because of his lack of effort. You know, he's just letting people just bully his own teammates down low and get whatever they want down low. And then he wants to blame them because they're actually trying to play defense. And that's LeBron is the problem, man. You know, in this situation with the Lakers, LeBron is the problem.
He's coaching for his job. Chances are he's not going to be back as head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers next year. And you know if they don't make the playoffs, even if they do make the playoffs, there's going to be some changes on the roster. So it's people are playing for their jobs. And LeBron James, I had no problem with him saying what needed to be said.
I have no problem with what he said literally. If you just dissect what he's talking about these players, of course he's correct. But I do have a problem if we take a step back here and look what he's really saying. Did LeBron go to L.A., Stephen A.? Did he go to the Lakers strictly for basketball?
Real quick, because Max has a habit of saying shit that kind of doesn't make sense when you look at it. Now, he just said, I don't have a problem with the overall sentiment of what LeBron said. I don't have a problem with it. But when you dissect what he's saying, that's what I have a problem with. So you either agree with the point or you disagree with the details of the argument. It can't be both, man. Like, and this is the problem with these fucking LeBron supporters. They fucking, and I'm not calling Max a LeBron supporter, man, but the shit he just said is a lot of times the stuff that they say when talking about this dude. It doesn't make any fucking sense, and they try to latch on to any fucking semblance of common sense, or not even common sense, just the consistency with their argument that they possibly can, even if it's not accurate and it doesn't fit. Like, they still try to find a way to make this shit fit. It's like if you're trying to stick a square inside of a fucking circle and you just jamming the shit in there trying to get it to fucking fit in there, and it clearly doesn't fucking fit, but it doesn't matter to you because if you keep trying hard enough, it's eventually going to make sense in the end. So, like, I don't understand what either you disagree with what he said or you don't. Like, either you disagree with what he said or you agree with what he said. It can't be both ways, man.
Basketball reasons. No. There were reasons other than, and maybe larger than basketball, which is why he chose the Lakers, the glamour destination in the sexiest market for basketball in this country because of the way the Knicks have been mishandled and because of the history of the Lakers, now helmed by Magic.
The Knicks haven't been a good team, not even with fucking Carmelo Anthony on the team. Like, I don't even think the Knicks were a good team with that dude on the team and Amari on the team, man, because they never scared. Like, when I watch Boston play teams, the Knicks never scared me as a person that watched the game. Like, if I'm going up against them, I'm not afraid of them. I don't know. The Knicks haven't been great for a very long time. So you can't really compare them on how they run to other teams that do better jobs with the way they run their team.
Johnson, he chose reasons other than basketball. It's a risk. That's a risk you're taking. And risk means that there's downside. And what has been presented to it is the downside. Look, the big picture is if he wins one championship in the 4 years he signed to the Lakers, it's a success. Here's some downside. He doesn't get that done. Well, how about this? You know how he has this string of making the finals every year since, 15 BC, right? Like, it's every year for 1,000 years now. Yeah, that's because he's in the East. The East is weak. Now he goes to the West. He's going to miss the playoffs, maybe, the first year. He's in the Western Conference, and mind you, the West has gone down. The East has come up. The West is not as strong as it used to be. He's in a weaker West than we've recently seen, and in real danger of missing the playoffs. Now, I still have faith in LeBron. I think he'll get it done. But
all right, real quick before
of course, Kings are coming. You see them.
Real quick before he finishes his thought or whatever, I agree with that. That's what I said. OKC versus Boston's records, which was identical for a very long time. They pretty much been matching each other's in wins and losses. But the Oklahoma City Thunder are third in their conference. Boston is fifth. That means the win shares in each conference is leaning a little more towards the Eastern Conference side. And then when you look at the worst teams in the conference, you got teams like Memphis, Phoenix. I mean, you have like New York, but over there you got like Dallas, and also another thing, man. Yeah, LeBron has that streak of finals appearances, man. But right now, I think that's the least of his concern. If the Lakers with LeBron, the best player in the world, granted, if they miss the playoffs and the Los Angeles Clippers gets in with the 8th seed, that would be one hell of a just storyline. And I would love to hear these LeBron supporters in the media talk about that. I know they're going to come up with some clever argument. The argument that they think is clever to exonerate this dude. But you go to a team where there's two teams in the same town, and the other team that lives in that town is significantly worse talent-wise than you are, but they made the playoffs and you didn't, and you're supposed to be the best player in the world. I'm sorry, man. That's something you won't be able to just wipe off.
Sending. You bring up the Spurs. Spurs go for it all the time. But there was question, would the Clippers be going for it, or would they rather have the draft pick since they're rebuilding? And they're very clear, they're going for it. LeBron's back is up against the wall. It will tarnish his reputation in the moment, if not legacy, if the first year he plays in the Western Conference, he doesn't even make the playoffs. But when he sits there and says the things that are true about the young guys, there will be the reaction by people like me. Time out, LeBron. Now you make a decision for other than basketball reasons to go somewhere. There is downside. Now you're pointing to these kids and saying, they don't know what it takes. Yeah, but we all kind of looked at that when you made that decision and thought, okay, LeBron, but you better bring someone in because that doesn't look like enough. It might not be enough. That's what he's really acknowledging right now.
Yeah, there's two sides to that. Yeah, there were a lot of people that said that LeBron going to that team, it wouldn't be enough this year. That's why they gave LeBron this year. He at least needed to make the playoffs, but they wasn't expecting a finals run out of him. His second year was when he would need to push for a title. Now, this dude don't make the playoffs. That's a terrible look. But there were a lot of people before the season started that honestly believed in their mind that it was very valid for them to believe that the Lakers would at least get to the Western Conference Finals. There were a lot of people that believed that. A lot of people that believed that because they had no faith in Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Anthony Davis, DeMar DeRozan. No faith in any of those guys. But they had faith in LeBron, and that's why they picked the Lakers to make it to the... And plus, and it just wasn't because of LeBron, man. It was because the team was talented. All right. I'm going to finish this point, and then I may finish this video in the second part. But, yeah, when the season started, man, a lot of people believe this team would just make it to the Western Conference Finals because LeBron is on this team, and he has a way of taking subpar talent and making them look better, even though they don't play better. But it's kind of like if you have a turd and you wrap it up in Christmas wrapping and put a bow on it. Underneath is still a turd. It's still shit. But the outside of it, which most people focuses on the surface anyway, it looks better than shit. You know, so, and that's a lot of times with these fucking teams when LeBron is on there. This is why people say he makes players better. He makes them look better, but they're not better. You know, so look, man, this is going to be an ongoing thing, especially if the Lakers miss the playoffs. And I'm looking forward to fucking seeing what happens because people talk about Tom Brady, finally falling off or finally being not a favor, when it comes to winning and all this other shit. LeBron, for me, is that way. When you finally take that fucking the mystique off this dude, people finally start acknowledging the weaknesses that are in his game. So that's it, man.